Alright, so today we are going to learn how to make this slice of cake out of clay. I'm going to go over some different terms that are related to clay. I'm also going to go over the different techniques that it takes to connect clay pieces. So, what I've done in order to prepare for this video is cut my pieces for the clay project. I had to cut one triangle and rectangles that are going to act as the sides. So what I'm eventually going to do is connect these three pieces together so that they become one. On my triangle, I'm going to use a method called slipping and scoring. So the scoring is actually making little slices into the clay with your needle tool. I'm using a method that we use in drawing called cross-hatching. Cross-hatching means like this is a hatch, so a hatch is just a line.
Scoring.
Cross-hatching, this is the type of lines I'm making. Cross-hatching is crossing the lines. So it's hatching and then crossing them. So I'm going to score all around the edges where I'm connecting. So I'm only going to connect.
Cross-hatching.
Oh. Because you make crosses, yo.
I'm only going to connect these two sides right now. If I make my scoring on the part where the base, I also have to score on the wall that I'm connecting it to. So here we go over here. I'm going to score on this side. The reason for doing this, I'm making the cuts into the clay. When I put the slip in the little slits that I'm making on the clay, eventually it's going to soak into these little slits that I'm making. And then when that slip hardens, it's going to harden and make it into one piece. So after I've scored, I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to put the slip on my finger, and I'm just going to rub it into those spaces that I just made.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
The reason that you make it not fully covered is because you don't want it to explode in the kiln.
Exactly. Whenever you're using clay,
Can I roll this back together?
the clay is going to, obviously it gets hard in the kiln, but if there's air trapped into the clay, the air doesn't have any space to move, so what it does is it just expands and then it explodes your piece.
And then causes...
And then if your piece breaks, then it's most likely going to break the pieces around yours. So if Kylie's is by, let's just say Enzo.
Wait, why are you doing mine?
Because you volunteered.
No, I want to be one of the neighbors. I don't want to be the one that explodes.
No, she said Kylie's is exploding and yours is the one that's going to
Kylie's exploding?
Kylie's is exploding next to Enzo's.
Sorry.
But what if it happens in real life?
one big chunk again?
Then we...
No, you're not.
Not until we have something to replace it with.
I say we should build some shelves outside.
What's her name?
Michaela.
Can you go get her?
Michaela!
Do you want to take down the Day of the Dead drawings? And then I can replace them with the grid drawings in the back?
Can I help?
No. Okay guys, listen, you guys are getting too loud. I'm not done. I know this is a long process, but you guys need to know how to do this or else your pieces are going to break.
Explode. Wait, we're still filming?
Yes.
She had to restart.
I had to restart because I made triangles instead of rectangles.
But it's okay because no one's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes.
Except for
Exactly.
And Sachibam.
Sachibamu? And if you don't cover all the cracks, will it crack?
It will break apart, yeah.
What cracks? Like the score,
The slip and scores.
You gotta be thorough.
So there's access piece, like this one I made a little too long. You can just take your needle tool and cut it so that it is even with the other clay. Now, this is the important part. This is why we made the coils. I'm gonna flip it to the side very gently. This is the seam that we just made with the connection piece. I'm gonna slip and score the outside as well.
What if we're not making 3D objects like that?
Is this an air
You kind of have
Like a flat, like pizza. Like say it's just a regular clay, like a piece of pizza.
Yeah.
Do we have to do any slipping and scoring? Except for if you're adding like decorations,
I would
like
say
a
like
pepperoni,
if you're adding
or like
a sausage or
pineapple,
something, you
or
would.
like sausage or cheese.
Yeah, I would say if you're adding those, you would have to slip and score.
Yeah.
Good question.
Thank you.
My coil is actually really hard, and I know that from working with clay, it's not going to connect if I just smooth it in. So I'm actually going to score my coil too. Normally you don't have to do this, but since my coil is so firm, it's not going to connect into the spaces if I just put it on. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, this is too hard. It's actually not going to work.
It looks like it's falling apart already.
It's too
thick?
It's too dry.
Oh, then put some more slip on it.
I did earlier. It's not working.
What about one of these pieces
Hey.
that's already in it?
Hey, what about the sauce?
all natural Japanese cotton.
So I would do that on both sides. Let's pretend I already did that. When I flip it over, I've got my pie.
I thought it was a cake.
Or cake, whatever it is. Who cares, right? Not you guys?
I care. I like food.
I actually prefer cheesecake. I don't want to go to breakfast.
Right? Why can't we just go? Because we have practice tomorrow too.
And Sunday. Pay attention.
So, one more thing I want to show you guys. I'm going to connect this little piece of whipped cream onto the top. The way I'm going to do the whipped cream is a little different than what I just showed you. This is really dry, so I should have made sure this clay was a little bit more. You could, but it takes time.
To work
You
it
would
in.
have to knead it.
Like pizza dough?
Yes. And you would have to re-wedge it. So this clay is not the best to be showing this project with.
If I'm doing something with a plate, do I have to make the plate?
So all I did was make a ball. I'm not trying to ignore you, but we really have to move forward so that we could finish this video. I made a ball in my palm, and I'm taking my thumb and I'm pressing in. And smoothing it with my thumb. You would have to slip and score to connect it. And then with your finger, you can carve in so that it looks like it's whipped cream.
That is absolutely insane.
So it's really thick right
It
now,
already looks like whipped cream, to be honest.
but I'm trying my best to make it look.
And then did she
Like cream. Then when it dries, what you're gonna do is, after it's completely dry, you can put it in the kiln. Once it's fired, we're gonna paint it so that you see the detail, the brown and the white.
Wait, does Monty?
Thank you to the people who were listening. I hope this video helps.